It begins by introducing an era known as the Age of Great War. It was a time where only the strong dictated law and truth. Within this ruthless world existed the Murim territory. In that land, there was a single man who stood at the absolute peak of martial power, a man who forced the entire world to kneel before him. His name was Assura. The scene then reveals an ongoing battlefield. Assura stood alone, surrounded by hundreds of enemies, fighting them by himself. He lived up to his fearsome name, displaying overwhelming madness and resolve, though he appeared without a single weapon and stood alone. His martial prowess was so powerful that it destroyed everything in its path. Before the might of the man hailed as the strongest, even the masters who once ruled the era fell one by one. Eventually, under the banner of the kingdom of Assura, he succeeded in unifying the world beneath the heavens. The scene transitioned smoothly to Muon, the capital of the Assura kingdom. There, Assura's subordinate, Moal, bowed deeply and offered her congratulations for defeating countless enemies at once. Assura showed no interest in praise and demanded the true reason for summoning him. Moal addressed him respectfully as her lord and acknowledged him as a historic king. To match his immense prestige, she expressed her wish to offer him a secret manual. She explained that she had summoned him for that very reason and declared that only Assura was capable of handling the power contained within the manual. User showed mild curiosity at the mention of a secret manual. He placed his hand on a bowl prepared nearby. The moment he did so, his hand was cut and his blood spilled into the bowl. Suddenly, countless chains erupted and restrained him. Moal then declared that User's era had ended. She announced that from that moment onward, she would rule the kingdom and demanded his surrender. Assura effortlessly shattered the chains binding him and reminded her of who he truly was. In response, Moal ordered her subordinates to immediately activate the barrier of the infinite abyss. User moved to strike her down, but before he could act, the infinite abyss engulfed him completely and dragged him inside. Those present immediately bowed before Moal and greeted her as their new queen. After betraying her own lord, Moal stood firmly as the ruler of the Assura kingdom. The narration explains that just like that, the life of the Fist King Assura, who once ruled the world, came to a hollow end. The scene then shifts to a system interface, notifying a player that they had been summoned as a player and asking whether they wished to join. When no response was given, the system urged the player to hurry and press the accept button. Suddenly, the system window was struck by a punch. The one who had done it was a player named Uda, who had just awakened from sleep. He wondered what had just happened as he sensed an ominous power around him. A small fairy accompanying him quickly warned him of an incoming dragon attack. Uda narrowly dodged the assault. The dragon then unleashed flames from its mouth. The system announced the activation of Inferno Breath, an area of effect fire magic attack with massive damage. Climber's strategy immediately began analyzing the skill. The analysis reached 85% and was completed successfully. The system automatically countered the attack. Ududa's fire resistance increased dramatically with a limited duration remaining. Using his holy sword, Uda cut down the dragon and completely defeated it. The system declared the quest complete and announced the 998th floor boss Inferno Balro had been defeated. The final quest was revealed. Reaching the top of the tower and completing the conquest, Uda let out a sigh of relief. Realizing how close the battle had been, the fairy, visibly tense, asked if something was wrong. She reminded him that only the top of the tower remained and urged him to clear it quickly so they could reunite with their family. Uda smiled and agreed with her. He reflected that 3 years had passed since he was summoned to this world. During that time, he had pushed forward relentlessly with only one goal in mind, clearing the tower. Now, with only the final floor remaining, an uneasy feeling settled over him. He sensed that something unknown awaited beyond this point. Preparing himself, Uda advanced toward the final boss room. As he opened the door, he discovered that the one waiting inside was none other than Assura. Uda mistook Assura for a spirit. The fairy, confused by his massive physique, mistook him for a gorilla. Assura demanded to know who Uda was. He looked around and concluded that Moal, the traitor, had summoned him to this place. Uda was shocked that the supposed spirit could speak with intelligence. Regardless, he believed that if this being was the final boss, then he had to defeat him. Uda launched a powerful attack with his holy sword. He believed the strike had finished Assura. However, Assura casually blocked the blade and questioned Uda's actions. Uda was stunned and realized that a final boss truly lived up to the title. The system activated Climber's strategy to analyze Assura's weakness. The analysis completed at 78%. Uda attacked again only for Assura to block the strike once more. Immediately after, the system reported a critical error. The success probability of Climber's strategy dropped drastically to an almost negligible value. Uda was horrified. Realizing that the success rate had fallen to a level he had never experienced before, he questioned the true identity of the old man standing before him. User told Uda not to be frightened and stated that he did not cross blades with those unworthy of battle. He judged Uda's current combat worth to be extremely low and declared that using his fists would be a waste of internal energy. Instead, Assura demanded to know the true nature of this place. Uda began began to understand the situation. He realized why Heavenly Judgment and Climber strategy had failed. This stage had been designed as a pure test of strength from the beginning. Yuta acknowledged that damage could not be dealt due to a hidden mechanism. He concluded that he needed to prove his true value in order to unlock the damage system. The system activated Uta's unique skill, the Chosen Hero. All of his stats were maximized for a limited duration. Uta declared that this was the absolute maximum limit the system could grant. Assura observed Uta's status window, which displayed his name, level, immense health, and mana, and maximized attributes. Seeing this, Assura became enraged. He mocked the concept of strength and agility being defined by maximum numerical values. He condemned the obsession with blue system windows and the idea of measuring power through mere digits. He declared such thinking to be utterly disgusting. Users stated that it no longer mattered what kind of place this was. He resolved to correct Uta's rotten mindset from its very foundation. With overwhelming force, Assura shattered Uta's status window. Errors flooded the system. Uta's entire progression history was deleted and recovery failed. Users smirked and demonstrated that true strength could not be measured by numbers. He declared that the tedious game of statistics ended there. Yuta watched in despair as all his stats vanished. He was reduced back to level 1. Overcome with regret, he realized that he had made a terrible mistake. Uta looks back on his past and speaks in a trembling voice. He recalls the day he was summoned to a mysterious tower. Countless people were summoned alongside him. They climbed the tower together, fought together, suffered together. But in the end, only one survived. Only him. The scene shifts to the past. Uta is seen talking with his fairy companion, Nova. He quietly asks her a question that has been haunting him. Open quote, Nova, if we conquer this tower, will we really be able to return to our original world? Close quote. The more he thinks about it, the stranger everything feels. They don't know what awaits them ahead. They don't know what dangers lie on each floor. And yet they were ordered to climb. No promises. No guarantee. Just climb. Uta admits that refusing the summons would have been the most natural choice. Nova agrees. She admits that even if they reach the top, returning home might be impossible. But she recalls the words of the goddess Yeshua. Open quote. Everything inside the tower exists for a reason. Close quote. Nova smiles faintly and says that she believes Uta's journey will also hold a precious meaning. The scene snaps back to the present. Uta collapses to his knees. He stares at his inventory. His status window. Gone. Every system interface has vanished. Every piece of data has been erased completely. Uta begins crying, loudly, desperately. He can't even comprehend the reality he's facing. From above, Assura looks down on him with contempt. He mocks Uta's pitiful state. Are you still clinging to those delusional numbers? He declares coldly, those disgusting blue system windows will never appear before you again. Uta trembles in fear. He begs for mercy. Assura responds indifferently, I don't kill those who aren't worth fighting. Then he asks, what kind of place is this? And how do I return to my real world? Uta hesitates. He wonders if Assura might be a player like himself. Finally, he answers honestly, he doesn't know how to return, except for one way. Clear the final stage. There is no other known method. Assura frowns. Final stage, clearing. To him, those words sound like meaningless nonsense. Uta is baffled. Did this man come straight out of the Middle Ages? Trying to simplify, Uta explains, in short, the tower must be broken from the bottom to the top. Assura takes those words literally. Without hesitation, he clenches his fist and punches. The tower's destruction. The entire tower begins to shake violently. Using overwhelming power befitting the Fist King, Assura starts smashing the tower, floor by floor. Uta panics. Wait, that's not what I meant, he screams, asking why Assura would destroy such a beautiful tower. Suddenly, system error. The tower has been destroyed by an abnormal entity. The structure collapses. As Uta falls along with the crumbling ruins, his mind goes blank. He destroyed the entire tower with a single bare-handed punch. It defies all logic. Just as Uta is about to fall into the abyss, Nova appears. She grabs him and pulls him to safety. Uta, shaken, asks where she had been. He thought she was gone forever. Nova apologizes. She explains she went back to retrieve his sword. She urges him urgently. Forget everything else. We have to escape. Now. Something far worse is coming. Uta asks in disbelief, what could possibly be worse than this? True horror begins. System error. Abnormal access detected. All remaining data from the destroyed tower begins to be deleted. A massive portal opens nearby. The tower's debris is violently sucked inside. Uta watches in horror. He doesn't know what that hole is, but he knows one thing. Being caught in it means certain death. Then, Assura steps out of the portal. He looks confused. It felt like I stepped on something earlier. Was that my imagination? He looks around. Why isn't anything happening? I broke the tower exactly as instructed. Uta explodes in rage. This is not what breaking the tower meant. He yells at Assura, demanding to know if he plans to destroy everything without thinking of the consequences. Before the situation escalates, a new presence appears. The true owner of the tower reveals herself, Moal. She glares at Assura. So you're the arrogant bastard who destroyed my tower. Assura grits his teeth. He realizes she had been hiding here all along. He curses her betrayal and lunges forward, but Moal moves first. With a single wave of mana, she strikes him down instantly. Assura crashes to the ground. Moal repeats her question coldly. Was it you who destroyed my tower? Uta is frozen in shock. Someone just suppressed pressed that monster effortlessly. A terrifying realization dawns on him. Could she be the goddess Yeshua? Assura rises slowly. He admits that Moal is different from the one he once knew. The Moal of his past never wielded such power. From her words alone, he becomes certain she is the creator of the tower and the numbers-based system. Assura condemns it all. This disgusting game of numbers, he demands one thing. Send me back to my kingdom, now. Moal bursts into laughter. She finds him genuinely amusing. She mocks the idea of returning home by breaking the tower. Who filled your head with such nonsense? Then, she grants permission. She tells him to destroy as many towers and status windows as he wants and makes a promise. If you truly destroy everything I created, I'll send you back to your world. But she smiles darkly. It won't be easy. The real game begins. System notice. Restoring data from recycle bin. Dummy players begin to generate, one after another. Thousands. Tens of thousands. Uda stares in horror at their overwhelming numbers. Moal grins. From this moment on, the towers you must destroy still exist in vast quantities. Suddenly, Uda attacks. He charges at Moal with his sword. She doesn't even flinch. She looks at him with pure contempt. And who is this worthless piece of trash? Moal reveals the truth. All the people she had summoned had already died while climbing the tower. One by one, those who died slowly became Uda's comrades. Seeing his dead comrades standing alive again leaves Uda completely shocked. From among the corpses, one man steps forward and asks Uda to climb the tower together again. Moal coldly states that no matter how strong Uda is, he will never be able to do anything against this pile of boys. Hearing this, Uda immediately charges forward with his sword and attacks Moal directly, but his blade fails to even touch her as a small barrier forms in front of her face. Burning with rage, Uda asks how she could mock his comrades' corpses so cruelly. He calls the tower meaningless and accuses her of trapping them inside only to slowly kill everyone. Now she is even using their dead bodies to ridicule them. To Uda, none of this makes any sense. Moal pushes him away. She calmly says that everything makes perfect sense to her. She explains that she is the creator of this world and the world is still imperfect. To make it perfect, she needs toys like Uda and his comrades. The tower was built only to make Uda stronger. She then declares that she no longer needs him because he failed to become as strong as she expected. With that, she prepares to erase him. At that moment, Uda realizes how foolish he has been. He understands how easily he became someone else's toy. Even then, he was too weak to protect himself. He could not even defeat a single woman. The realization breaks him from the inside. Suddenly, an old hand is cut off. A stone thrown at terrifying speed severs her arm. Moal is shocked. She never expected Assura to interfere. Fury erupts within her. Assura laughs in delight. Seeing him, Uda realizes this old man never learned how to give up. He thought Assura would bow before her power, but now he understands that Assura is the only one who can defeat her. Assura attacks Moal and slams her into the ground. Moal is impressed by his overwhelming strength, yet she refuses to let such power roam freely. She places her hand on Assura's chest and activates her power. Assura senses something wrong. Moal moves closer and orders him to clean every tower she created and conquer every nation. She tells him she will be waiting. Then she disappears. Left alone, Assura feels confused. Deep inside, he wonders what kind of reason could make her abandon him in this world. Meanwhile, the undead attack Uda. He tries to block their strikes while calling out his friends' names. Nova tells him they can no longer respond because they have lost themselves. Uda hesitates. He cannot bring himself to kill them. Assura arrives and punches one of the corpses. He asks Uda why he is not fighting. He says he has no time to waste on worthless corpses. Uda refuses and says they are his comrades. Assura becomes enraged. He tells Uda to open his eyes and see the truth. These are only empty shells with no spirit left. Understanding that Uda has been worn down by the tower, Assura promises to punish Moal. The undead attack together. Assura decapitates them without hesitation. His anger grows and he fights like a monster. He notices his internal energy is being restricted. He understands that this is Moal's interference. Instead of frustration, he laughs. Breaking her power feels like a real challenge. More corpses rush in. Assura tears them apart with his bare hands. To him, this battlefield is nothing but a warm-up. Uda watches in shock, but he realizes something terrifying. No matter how many times they fall, they regenerate. Knowing Assura will eventually be exhausted, Uda decides to help. Nova warns him that using the holy sword now could kill him. Uda accepts the risk. A corpse approaches and asks him to climb the tower together again. Uda slashes it down. With tears in his eyes, he swears revenge. He asks Assura if he can handle his power. Assura tells him not to give orders. Once the corpses are gathered, Assura moves away. Uda runs forward. He looks at his comrades and apologizes. Golden light erupts from his sword. The ground cracks. A massive explosion consumes the area. After the attack, Uda collapses. Assura is impressed. He says Uda is weak but useful. Barely conscious, Uda tells him that he is not the only one who wants that woman dead. He forces himself to stand and declares that he will also be one of those who kill her. He loses consciousness. Assura catches him. Laughing, Assura says that if Uda ever becomes stronger than him, he will allow Moal to kill him. Until then, they will wait. Elsewhere near a mountain forest, a masked figure appears at the site of the explosion. From the mask, a red aura leaks from burning eyes. The figure silently observes the aftermath, filled with an intense desire to kill. In the next scene, screen, the view slowly opens to a vast land of towering mountains. Massive streams of water crash down from above like roaring dragons. Beneath one of those waterfalls, Assura sits completely still. After training for a long while, Assura slowly opens his eyes. He tightens his muscles and lets the waterfall strike him head on. Then, suddenly, he throws a punch. The punch moves so fast that the water explodes outward in a circular wave. The entire waterfall trembles. Yet Assura frowns. He realizes something is wrong. He still cannot feel his internal energy properly. Even now, Moal's power continues to seal him. The fact that she can suppress even a monster like him makes her strength terrifyingly clear. His gaze shifts. Uda is still lying nearby, weak, barely breathing. Assura bluntly asks how long Uda plans to keep resting. Without warning, Assura kicks him hard in the back. Uda is sent flying and crashes into the rocky mountain ground. Even then, Uda immediately grabs his sword and struggles to stand. Anger flashes in his eyes. Assura realizes that Uda has not regained his senses yet. Still, he has no intention of wasting time. His goal is simple. Clear the towers. Find Moal. He tells Uda to prepare himself and move. Uda's mind shakes. He asks why they would destroy such perfectly built and beautiful towers instead of searching for Moal directly. Assura becomes irritated. He calls Uda a foolish idiot. Then he explains calmly, Moal is most likely hiding inside one of the towers she created in this world. To find her, they must clear every single tower. Only then will she be exposed. Uda understands the logic, but another doubt forms in his heart. Why should he even travel with this crazy old man? At that moment, Nova nervously whispers to Uda. She says Assura feels dangerous. The way he shattered Uda's system window proves that one day he might erase Uda as well. Hearing the whisper, Assura turns his head. He asks what Uda is mumbling about. Frightened, Nova quickly hides behind Uda. Assura then speaks clearly. He says he is not following Uda, and Uda is not following him. More importantly, they share the same goal, finding Moal. From a logical standpoint, traveling together makes sense. He adds one more thing. If Uda ever tries to fight Moal alone, she would erase him in less than a second. Because of that, Assura decides to train him. With that decision, the two begin traveling together. Soon, another tower appears before them. Assura suddenly looks at a muscular human figure nearby. He comments that she has grown significantly in just a few days. If she continues training like this, she will be very useful in the future. That muscular human is Nova. She is no longer small or weak. Nova flexes her muscles proudly. She says all the credit belongs to him. His brutal training forced her to grow. Assura suddenly wonders where Uda is. At that moment, Uda appears, walking slowly, using a stick for support. Assura mocks him, saying he looks exactly like a servant. Uda collapses and asks them to stop so he can rest. It is revealed that during the past days, Assura trained both Uda and Nova brutally. They lifted massive trees to build strength. Uda struggled badly. Meanwhile, Nova advanced far beyond him. Her muscles are clearly visible. Assura observes him carefully. Once Uda finally reaches them, Assura relaxes. He looks at the tower again. This one feels stranger than the previous towers. Nova feels excited and wants to enter immediately, but Assura cannot find any entrance, so he decides to destroy the tower itself. Nova smiles and says this is exactly what she expects from her master. Assura steps forward and prepares his punch. Seeing this, Uda desperately crawls forward and begs him to stop. He says they should calculate first. Assura ignores him. He punches the tower. A system error appears. The tower begins to collapse. A purple aura activates. A message appears. Forced movement into the tower interior. All three are dragged into the purple light. The next scene opens to a ruined city. Buildings lie destroyed. A bright light flashes. Assura, Uda, and Nova appear. Assura looks around confused. Uda lies on the ground again. Nova panics. Her muscular body is gone. She is small again. Uda feels like he might have returned to his real world, but the ruined city tells him otherwise. Suddenly, Nova gasps and points. Player corpses are scattered everywhere. Uda realizes the truth. This is not the real world. A voice echoes. It commands everyone to respond. Spirits rise from the corpses and gather together. Assura watches silently. A figure descends from the sky. He realizes they are new prey. He warns them not to resist. Only he will reach the top. Purple energy flows. A massive skull demon appears. Compared to it, Assura and Uda look like ants. Assura senses the power difference. Yet he steps forward alone. Uda shouts for him to retreat. Assura scoffs. He throws a punch. The skeleton strikes back. The collision crushes the air. When the dust clears, the skull is shattered. Assura mocks it. He calls the summoner arrogant, hiding behind monsters like a coward. The man becomes furious. He summons more demons. Then he admits the truth. Until now, he was only testing them.